Alrighty folks, we're going to start adding up some songs to our easy beginner songs, and one of the easiest songs we could possibly play is this song, Amazing Grace. It's obviously a classic song written like 18th century, so it's very simple, and I'm going to show you guys what it is that we're doing here, okay? Now there's only, there's 4 chords, I guess, technically. We're going to go from our G to the G7th. Okay, now there's 2 ways of playing your G7th. I guess the easier way, well, I don't know, they're both kind of easy. You choose whichever way you want to play, and I use both in many different songs, so you should learn them both, okay? One way to play a G7th is by switching your fingering position around so that your 3rd finger is now on the 3rd fret of the E string. That's that note right there. And your 2nd finger is now on the 2nd fret of the 2nd string. Okay? Your 2nd finger is now on that note. So it almost looks like a regular G chord, except that your 1st finger is now freed up so that you can put it on the 1st fret of the high E string, okay? That's the last string, the highest one, right? Instead of having a finger on the 3rd fret, you've got a finger, your 1st finger, on the 2nd fret, and that's what makes the G7th chord. So you guys can either play it that way, or if you want, you can play your regular G chord, except your pinky is going to be on the 3rd fret of the high E string, right? That's the high G note right there, as you guys can see. And your 3rd finger is going to go on the 3rd fret of the 3rd string. That's that note right there, okay? And that's what makes, right? That's what makes that G7th. That's the G7th that I usually play, but feel free to mix it around with whatever you guys want to use, okay? Now, this is a very slow song, and believe it or not, a lot of the songs that you play, you'll find the slower you play it, the harder it can be, because it's you have less distance to find your beat, you know, and you're just begging for the beat to come in, right? And and this is one of those songs, but it's still a good song for any beginning guitarist to play, okay? So what we're gonna do is let me just get the beat here. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. Oh, it's actually in 3/4. Excuse me. I'm sorry for confusing you guys there. So we're going to go in 3/4 time. I don't know if you guys remember what that means from my lessons, but what it means is we're going to count 3 beats per bar, okay? 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. So that's what we're doing for Amazing Grace, okay? So you're going chuck, chuck-a, chuck-a, chuck, chuck-a, chuck-a, chuck, chuck-a, chuck-a, chuck. That's our beat, right? Chuck, chuck-a, chuck-a, chuck, chuck-a, chuck-a, chuck, okay? So it's in 3/4 time. You gotta try to get the waltz, because this is called a waltz. You know, that's 3/4. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. This is waltz time, okay? And you guys have to get used to this, because a lot of songs are in waltz time. So this is what we're going to do, okay? I guess I'll just play it for you guys, and then you guys can kind of follow me along. Now, there is one thing that I'd like to show you guys that I'm also doing in here, okay? So there's actually 4 chords in this song. We're going to go, we're going to have a D, and we're going to go from the D to our D7th before we go to our G, okay? And I'll show you that right now. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. To the D7th, I once was lost. Okay, so the D7th is you're going to go from your regular D, and you've got to switch the fingers around in order to play your D7th, okay? So now what you're going to do is you're going to take your 2nd finger and put it where your 1st finger is, right? And then you're going to take your 3rd finger and put it where your 2nd finger was, okay? and then you're going to put your first finger on the first fret of the B string. That's this finger right here, okay? So I'm going to show that to you guys, because that is how you play your D7th chord. Hopefully I'm not confusing you, right? So you've got your second finger on the second fret of the G string. You've got your third finger on the second fret of the E string, the last string, and then that's the highest string. And then your first finger is on the first fret of the second string coming up from lower. Okay, and that's the first fret of the B string. Okay, and that's how you do your D7th. Okay, now you're only going to go to a D7th right after a D, and the D7th leads us into the G. Okay, and that's why we do the D7th. All right. So I'm just going to go through it for you guys, and then I'm going to let you guys pick it up as you go along. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now am found. Was blind, but now click back to the G. 'Twas grace that twas grace that taught my heart to fear, and grace my fears relieved. How precious that grace, did that grace appear, the hour I first believed. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now am found. Was blind, but now I see. Alright, one more. Through many dangerous snares and toils, I have already come. 'Tis grace that brought me safe thus far, and grace will lead me home. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now am found. Was blind, but now I see. Yeah, Amazing Grace, written by John Newton in the 18th century. Yeah, so that's a good, easy song for you guys to learn right off the start, and I'm going to cook up some more easy ones for you guys to learn right now. Hopefully you guys enjoy.